I created this channel to try and get more people into racing pigeons, and I need to be conscious of the fact that this is the first video that many people will have seen of mine, and so I need to keep things relatively simple. So with that in mind, if you're thinking about dipping your toes in the racing pigeon world, in this video I'm going to explain why I think now is the perfect time to do it. This week I woke up to find myself inside a snow globe, which, although pretty, meant I had to put my plan to clear a landing strip for the birds on hold until it warmed up a bit. Right, let's do it. You see, the problem I had was that when my birds were racing home from the north, they couldn't see the loft until the last second on account of the trees here on the right blocking their view and slowing them down. So I had to take action. Right, I reckon that's about... what's that, 6'3"? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's going to be quite close to smashing the fence there. I reckon if I cut it here, I'll buy myself an extra, what's that, 4 foot away from the fence, because it will start there rather than there. Is that logic sound? I don't know. I'm not a lumberjack. Hey. I was actually enjoying cutting down the trees, even with my plastic chainsaw. However, someone else noticed what I was doing and she was less impressed. Yeah? What do you think you're doing? Pruning. You just need a bit of a trim, a bit of a haircut. Yeah, might be in a bit of trouble there. Hey? Bollocking over with, I managed to get permission to remove the largest offenders on the promise of handing over some firewood for the log burner. Oh, I want to get the loft. Yes. Right, so what we've done is we've taken that cord line down because that was massive. Good job I did, because it was rotten through the middle, so that was going to blow down at some point anyway, probably over next door's garden. And we've taken one of these. I would have taken more, but Karen's caught me, so she wasn't happy with that. I've taken one off from there, and then we've chopped that tree down completely. And we've also pruned back heavily the lilac. So in theory, what should happen now is when the birds race from the north, clear line right up to the loft. So, yes, shit scraper. I guess that's me, isn't it? I'm scraping shit. Oh, this is looking out of stable. As you can see, I'm always only too pleased to get on with my most favourite job. They're perching on the bloody window. Shitting everywhere. It's actually working quite well now in the loft. I brought Zoolander back in from the loft next door, and he's just taken one box now. He kicked one of them out, but he's not trying to go from box to box to box because some of the others had paired up, and they've commandeered some of the boxes, which is great. You've got to be careful about what questions you ask online about what you should do for your birds, because you'll get loads and loads of different answers. But I had a problem last year where I couldn't get any of the birds' droppings to be solid. They were all like really wet Weetabix. I treated them for pretty much everything before breeding season. A few people actually said use this black mineral, which is this. There's a couple of different shades because it does get moist if you leave it out in the loft, and this is a couple of days old now. But it worked to treat. So if you've got running droppings during breeding season, then this is the stuff that's worth a try. That's one of the eggs I found on the loft floor the other day. That was clear, and that's the other one that the dropper laid, again clear. That's Alex's Belgian bird there, paired up with Dark Ghoul. Dark Ghoul was the one that came third in the Gold Ring race, so I'm happy with that pairing, but they want to be down there. I'm going to build them a proper box, but I just had some bricks and wood to hand, so to get them off the floor. There's another pair and still behind that board. He hasn't paired up yet. That's Dave Evans. That's Zoolander. I had to put him in the Naughty Boys loft last week. Paired up there, they haven't laid. There's 2 eggs in there, they're both fertile. There's another pair in there. There's another pair there, another pair down there. So none of those have laid, other than the 2 at the bottom and that one at the top. You dropped it. Cleaning over with, I was giving a lot of thought on how now was a good time for newcomers to enter the pigeon racing world. One of the main reasons now is a good time is because everybody in the northern hemisphere at least are breeding young birds, so there's plenty of them, and soon they'll be breeding their second round as well. So are you going to eat any of these, or are you just going to spit them all out? And so if you're after birds, now is a good time to start thinking about it, because you'll be able to raise them as young birds later on this year. The second reason is because of these things. Everybody knows that for the last 2 or 3 decades, racing pigeons has become a declining sport, especially in the Western world. And that means that there's loads of these things available quite cheap. If you want to pick one up, people are giving up the sport, so you can get yourself a decent loft for not very much money at all. I mean, I built this one and I built that one, but if I had the cash and I didn't have the time, and actually if there was a loft available now that was close enough, I'd be tempted to buy it because it's just instant. So now you can buy one of these, loads available, Facebook Marketplace, eBay, just in the local paper, or just ask around at the local club. You'll probably be able to pick one of these up for not very much money, and you can fill it full of the young birds too. The third reason for getting involved in racing pigeons now is kind of tied to reason number 2, and that's the fact that so many people are retiring from the sport because of age or health related issues. The problem with that is lots of them are giving up decades worth of experience in breeding and selecting the best possible birds to create the fastest racing pigeons, or the most reliable racing pigeons. So once they're gone, so is their work. If you can find a local fancier that's giving up their loft or giving up their birds or both, but they still might want to be involved in it somehow, then that's a great opportunity because you get the whole package. And if you can find somebody that, you know, a lot of people retire because they find it difficult to train the birds every week and to scrape out every week or every day. It's a lot of work for them, but they've still got the knowledge. They still know what to do, far more so than any newcomer. So if you can put the physical work in and they can help you with the mental work and the knowledge and the experience, then, you know, why not take advantage of that? Blimey, I am wrinkly. So this might be a stupid idea, but I'm thinking about giving it a go. And that is, when I went to the Doncaster show and again to the Blackpool show, what I found was there was very little there for the newcomer. This is my third year racing coming up, and there's still loads and loads of stuff that I don't know. And what I really miss about in these events, I guess, is any talks from experts. There's lots of stalls, and you can go and talk to somebody about whatever they're selling. but there's no talks. It's not like a conference or anything like that. And I feel like whenever I've been to any of these events before, and I wrote into the British Homing World actually a couple of years ago and said this about the Doncaster show, is that there needs to be a room somewhere where you've got experts talking about a particular thing, whether it's feeding or training young birds, whether it's how to breed, racing long distance or sprint. There's loads and loads of topics that people could talk about, and you could listen to experts. And I think that's kind of what a lot of newcomers want to know. They go onto YouTube or they go onto forums, all the things I've done, to try and find information about racing pigeons. But what would be really good is if you had some sort of a facility at one of these events to talk about it. I mean, I'd go and watch somebody if they had a reputation for being a good flyer or a good breeder, or they knew their way around nutrition. That doesn't exist. So what I'm thinking is, would there be any appetite for people in the UK at least to go and visit something like that if it did exist? And there may be an opportunity for us to set up a meeting, whether it's like a fringe event on the side of one of these bigger events, or whether it's its own thing. We'll hire a room somewhere or a bar somewhere, and we invite some guest speakers to talk about stuff, basically pigeon related information, to get people into it in the first place. Clocks, how do they, what best clocks to use for a new starter, or loft design, or there's so many things that you can read in a book. A lot of it's out of date, and a lot of the books are old, so the stuff's out of date. But yeah, I feel like that's missing from a lot of the events, a lot of the trade shows. They don't really have anything like that, and I feel like they're missing a trick. Yeah, do you agree, Doggle? Woo! Yes, you agree. Okay, so anyway, if you think that's a good idea, then let me know in the comments below, because if there's enough appetite for it, then I'll look at setting something like that up, maybe arranging something, and try and inviting some people along to give a talk on it, and have it purely aimed at people that are looking to get involved in racing pigeons, or that are relatively new, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years maybe of racing, and seeing if that would be of any interest to anybody. So yeah, let us know in the comments if you think it's a good idea. Also, let me know if you think it's a stupid idea. Shut up, Dan, what are you talking about? Just get on with racing your birds.